Now, to elaborate more on the ongoing issue, with me now in the studio is the Climate Reality Leader-cum-Advisor to the Center for Governance and Political Studies, CENT GPS, Dr. Renard Siew. Welcome and thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
Now, first of all, looking closely at two incidents in Pasir Gudang, what is the actual cause of the pollution and how do you think this could have occurred?
Where do I begin? I mean, first and foremost, we must understand that environmental issues in Malaysia, like, it's huge. So apart from, having issues around floods, in the east coast of Peninsula Malaysia, which has worsened over the years, we have also experienced a series of droughts, right? Like the water security issue, like in Selangor. And more recently, environmental pollution has definitely surfaced in the past couple of months. We must understand that this issue does not happen overnight. It's something that has happened gradually, and there are generally two sources of pollution, if you like. Like, first is through the direct discharge from chemical factories into the rivers itself, and secondly through actually the barrier of chemical compounds, like on land. So in a case where you actually have severe rainfall, what happens is that you get leachates that actually
that will just go into the river. Right, okay. So a few days back, it has been reported that most chemical factories in Pasir Gudang have committed offences under the Environmental Quality Act that we all know. So now, illegal disposal of chemical waste is definitely a major environmental hazard. Why does this happen and why haven't any enforcement been done before until such pollution can occur?
So one of the criticisms that most people have is that in Malaysia itself, like, we have some of the best or most beautifully crafted policies and acts, but where we lack is really in terms of enforcement.
Executing it.
Execution, precisely. And it's only in the past couple of months that we have actually seen a ramp up of fines, penalties, and compounds being given to factories who have been dumping chemical waste illegally. Why was this not done even beforehand?
Right.
So, no, we definitely have a lot of work to do in terms of improving the way that we execute some of the policies that we have in the country.
Okay, now knowing you as an environmental analyst, could you share with us the steps on how chemical wastes are being disposed in the country, and do factories in Malaysia follow closely these procedures? And what is the worst case scenario if we allow the dumping of hazardous materials to go on?
So when you talk about chemical waste specifically, it falls under the scheduled waste section of the Environmental Quality Act 1974. And under the scheduled waste section, like, there is very clear SOPs like that need to be taken. Like, so waste generators, for example, like, need to be able to report and record on the amount of chemical waste that they have generated.
So that everything is like in
proper order. There needs to be an inventory up to 3 years, and there are only certain designated premises where this waste can actually be treated and placed. So there is actually a very detailed procedure. In fact, there's something called eSwiss, like the electronic scheduled waste information system, where waste generators actually have to pump in information, like, on that database if they were generating.
Is it like automated?
It's online, like, so it's actually a requirement for factories or chemical or waste generators to actually make such reports online whenever like, such compounds are being generated. But unfortunately, there are some illegal practices that we're still witnessing, where people don't actually adhere closely to what is required, like in these policies.
Right. So if you're saying that they have that system and it's automated, that every single time something dangerous that comes in and they report, then how is it that, I mean, if we have that, how is that not happening?
So I think it goes back to the whole argument around execution, right? Like, so we have the platform that's readily available,
but they're not using
are people actually reporting on time? Like, are they actually doing it? It's a whole different question altogether. And I think that's where we fall short, to be honest. And this has actually created a lot of dissatisfaction as well. So the Center for Governance and Political Studies actually did a short poll, like, with the citizens, like, asking, how do they feel about such issue? And a majority, 56% of them, says that there's still a lot more that can be done, and we're, like, very slow to action.
Yeah, okay. So from all of this really bad things that's been happening, what lessons do you think that we can all take from this crisis?
I think in a crisis situation, I think it's important to understand that all stakeholders are in it together, regardless of whether you're a legal authority, you're a citizen, like all of us have a part to play. From a legal authority perspective, what I would say is that we need to have like more proper planning. Like there needs to be proper buffers like between industrial areas and residential areas. And this comes through actually the planning of the city itself. Like because elimination is really the most effective cure, like in this particular case. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm afraid that's all the time we have, Dr. Renard. And let's just hope that we all can have this crisis just to wrap up as soon as we can so that no other victims will be implicated in the future. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.